All right. Welcome back to Transparency and Merit. I'm JP. I'm here with Brian, and we're talking about the strippers and the religion of wokeness. This is stemming from a story out of Portland, Oregon. And I think we're going to go
Yes,
into that in a few minutes,
yes. So, Portland, by the way,
kind of the thing.
now I've heard, and you were in Portland, but you did not partake, Joe. But you were in Portland, but you didn't realize that Portland in America has the largest concentration of strip clubs.
Yeah,
And
but yeah, I knew that though. I did know that because I worked in a restaurant bar, and we would get some of the overflow. Some of the strippers would come in and hang out at the bar area after their shifts were over. And
Mhm.
I always thought it was strange that we had such a wide variety of strippers hanging out with us, but they were there.
Do you think they were hooking on the side?
They were just chilling after work, but who knows what they got into. Most of them were really nice. They weren't on duty at all. They were just having a beer and maybe having a. It was a place called the Buffalo Gap. We sold buffalo burgers and some other. I think we had moose burgers and regular burgers. So they would come in for a really good moose burger, maybe, and a beer, and hear some
How good?
music.
How good, Joe? How good were the moose burgers?
They were amazing. I would get. I got the bison burgers almost every shift I worked. They were so good. He says they were hooking. They might have been. They might have been. They were chilling. They were all really nice. I wouldn't have known they were strippers, except most of them were so. Oh, am I sounding muffled? Oh, damn it!
Not to me, or not.
How do I sound? Sound okay to you?
Much better though. Right now, you sound much better. Right now.
I wonder. I wonder why.
Um,
I Yeah. I'll do a sound check from Brian. So yeah, go ahead, Brian.
yeah. So I'm assuming that a lot of them probably maybe like went to a bar to tie one on, but a lot of them, a lot of strippers do on the side stuff just to make extra ends meet. Um, and recently, and I think in lieu of all of the Black Lives Matter protests, there's been a protest by strip clubs about the inequality of how strippers are being treated. Mainly black strippers are considered not treated as well as other strippers. And Joe is maybe still doing his mic test.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I would sound.
Yeah, you sound pretty good. You sound fine by me, Joe.
I don't hear any echo from you. Maybe your speakers. I'm hearing a little bit of echo on your speakers, but that's if you could turn those down just a touch, I think would be great.
I can do that. Let me just real quick go ahead and do that real quick. My preferences. Get to the volume here. And yeah, real quick.
I'll just set my mic a little higher, might be a little better. I think.
Do I sound better now?
Yeah. Sounds good.
Am I echoing less? So yeah, so there have been strippers. Yeah, the strippers, and it was a multiracial group of strippers that were demanding equal justice for black strippers. I think maybe even black and brown strippers. So why don't we play that footage, and then you and I will comment about what exactly is going on.
Yep. Yeah. Let's go over to this. This was posted on Antifa Public Watch.
No justice, no booty. We have to strike. The stripper strike is everybody coming together because not only are we experiencing discrimination against Black dancers and dancers of color, But we're pretty much tired as a collective of having no rights as far as being independent contractors, but having no say when you get to schedule your shift. The truth of the matter is Black dancers network with each other very well. And unfortunately, we know where we're allowed to dance, where we're even allowed to audition, and where we aren't. You know, you get through the audition process and then it's like no call back, you know, but then you send your other dancer friend in there, you know, and she's white and she gets hired, she gets called back that same day. And it goes further than that. And that's really why we're striking, because it's a known thing that nobody talks about, and it's a problem. And it wouldn't be accepted in any other industry, so why in ours? Basically, we are asking that clubs take cultural sensitivity training. We're also asking for shift equality. If we do get hired, we're usually kept on day shifts or shifts during the week, which historically are not the more lucrative shifts. It's the night shifts and the weekend shifts. We have clubs that will tell us we're not allowed to play hip hop or rap music, but will allow white dancers or dancers with lighter complexion do that. And we're always told that it attracts the wrong crowd. The wrong crowd, most likely being people that look like me. We are not asking dancers to stop working. What we're asking is that the clubs sign on and that the rest of the community show their support for this. Go out to clubs, throw some money on butts, especially Black butts. We've been systemically disenfranchised, and I think that what we're trying to do here is make sure that people hear us this time. The strike is really to let people know that we don't have to do business with people who aren't working to better themselves. So we're not asking for a boycott. We're asking you to ask your local businesses what their anti-discrimination policy is and what they're doing to make things better, because we are the best city in the world.
All right, there we go. Interesting.
I got to be honest, Joe. I looked at that again, and that has to be the most silly, stupid thing I think I've ever seen. I mean, strip clubs, these managers, these owners of these strip clubs, they want to turn the biggest profit. Okay? Their motivation is money. And if you're a dancer that can bring home the cheddar, then you'll be hired, and you'll be hired on the most lucrative shifts.
Right, right. They're going to get those Friday night, Saturday night shifts, and the lower, the lesser desired. I don't know.
The lesser desirable individuals, and look, maybe, and to a degree, it's all subjective, but I'm pretty sure that these owners and managers know what makes money and doesn't. Just like, a sports team, they don't hire all people. Like if you're an owner of a sports team today, you're going to hire what makes the most amount of money. What and basically that's the thing that gets you to the victory. And that's the same thing with an employer. An employer wants to hire someone who's going to make the most amount of money for him. And to think anything else is just foolish. It's kind of stupid. And it's like, black butts matter? Really? Just silly. But I'm thinking, Joe, we're in a silly age right now. Starbucks, I did a show on that. Starbucks is pulling its money away from social media because it's against Satan. Let me see if I have my handle here about what Starbucks exactly is doing right now.
We just did a show recently on South Korea and the K-pop phenomenon, and I have discussed about my experiences in some of them in South Korea, and I've got a couple of very good friends that I had made during that time when I was in South Korea. And good news, I reached out to my friend Suyan, and
Mhm.
she wants to talk with me soon. So hopefully, I'm gonna ask her if she'll come on the show and talk about some of the K-pop phenomenon. She's really great. My little chicky.
So there's now this, and it's just gone all over the place. There's this stop hate for profit, color of change, and they're basically what they are is,
What is this now? What are you talking about?
well, no, I mean, there's, I'm just talking about what Starbucks has done.
What?
Starbucks has pulled its advertising from social media because it's saying it's filled with hate speech. And Stop Hate for Profit, that is another, it's just another group that is, yeah, we know what Facebook did, and these are large groups, and a lot of them have probably gotten, government funding to basically censor speech that it finds hateful. And yeah, a lot of these people have gotten large, particularly now since this whole pandemic. They have gotten very large amounts of money to basically censor people that it doesn't like. It's one of the most authoritarian things I've ever seen. And you know, you either got to be in favor of freedom of speech, or and in favor of freedom of expression. And now we're paying, like these people are getting our tax dollars to determine what is hateful speech, and there's no real clarity on that. It's very arbitrary, and it's just how they feel. And if you speak out against them, they'll just basically accuse you of hate speech. Never seen anything like that, Joe. Now we're looking here at the pictures of strippers and strip clubs, and
Have they
you know
opening? Have they reopened, or are they back to being closed?
they're closed, and the bars are closed now. The bars were open, but these new numbers, the bars are now closed because of the pandemic, and that's another thing. We can't talk openly about this pandemic. They'll shut us down. So we can't talk openly about this. We can't talk too openly about Black Lives Matter or any other civil rights group.
Well, bottom line is this, Brian. I think the name of the game is we're gonna do our best to stream what we can live here on YouTube, but we also have to stream live directly onto our censorship-free website.
Yeah.
And when we get that up, and I don't know what that's going to take, if who we're going to have to meet to help make it happen, but once we're able to simply stream live right into our website.
Yeah. And I'm thinking, because of what Starbucks did.
Period. Go ahead.
I'm thinking about what Starbucks did. I wonder if there's a coffee producer that if they want to ship, transparency and merit coffee. Because look, I mean, like, hey, this is all about, like, freedom of speech, and, like, this can't, and I've said this before, cancel culture, there's no, it seems like cancel culture does not have, there's no open court of public opinion with cancel culture. If you're canceled, the judge, jury, and executioner, all, there's no defendant, there's no public or paid defender to defend you out in the court of public opinion. It's all controlled by the mainstream media, and now by the by the internet oligarchy, the social media oligarchy, and then these other businesses that are also in line with them. The establishment is not for freedom of speech and freedom of thought and freedom of debate. It's the most authoritarian thing I've ever seen in my lifetime.
That's true. That's true.
And
looks like we got a new comment here. I really don't know much about D Live personally. I was just throwing it out there as an option. Yeah. I don't like D Live because it just reminds me of Vegas. It's got all these buttons and it's just too much going on the screen and stuff. But I know what you're saying. There's options out there, I guess. We just have to be a little proactive in finding it. But ultimately, if we're going to have a true free speech zone, it's going to be on our website.
Yeah, and like I said, hopefully maybe we'll, just for freedom for coffee, since Starbucks is lining up with this Stop Hate for Profit.
Yeah, I know this sounds out there, okay, but I feel, and I don't know if Brian's out on any of this, but these are things I kind of research and look into. But I think we are moving into a whole new era, an age, if you will, a whole new age. And I think it's all, it's something that's being played out by the powers that be. Why am I hearing myself twice? Damn it! God damn it! Anyway, we gotta work on our sound. But I think by the end of this year, late December, I think we're gonna start moving into this new era, and I just think that we are gonna be in a world where people. I just have this feeling that there's going to be new technologies. There's going to be things that we thought people couldn't achieve or do are going to be done, and I just feel that strongly enough. What that means for the future of strippers, I have no idea. I don't.
Yeah. Well,
right now, pandemic things is absolute worst possible case scenario for strippers, though.
No, you're right. I mean, movies. I mean, like, so much is maybe a thing of the past. Strip clubs, movie theaters, fine dining, bars. I mean, bars right now were open for a while and now they're closed. And a lot of things may be a thing of the past. We may be inside, and like if we're inside right now and we can't have any face-to-face meetings, but now we can't have like our internet is now like we can't talk about things either. I mean, also there's Antifa's a violent wing, and we're threatened. Like if you're a Trump supporter, or you're a supporter that the establishment doesn't like, they will attack you physically. There's been violent attacks on people. So, I don't know when this is going to come to a head, but it's like you can't attack people because you don't agree with what they say. You can't, you have to, like, hey, you may be offended, but the only time you should be attacking somebody is when your life is in danger, or even, like, I'll even accept your property, but your psyche, that's not, you can't physically attack someone because they've hurt your psyche.
And what's thing here is the communist. I can barely talk without hearing myself. I don't know what happens. Oh, there we go. Thank you. The communist takeover. With everything that's going down right now, it certainly leads down the path that maybe this is the only way out of this, or the only indicators that were being shown is that this is a some sort of socialist takeover or communist takeover. And I've heard this over and over again, and it's quite a thing. Are people standing up and even giving a crap about it, or is this what people want? I'm not sure. But I'm not hearing anybody out there in so-called real life that's doing shit about it. I see a lot of lazy people. For my money, I've been doing this with Brian for almost 10 years now. So this is a call to action for me. Sitting around and not podcasting is the absolute worst case for me. This is the way that I'm going to attack this and make my mark, is to continue to talk about these things and expose them for what they are. But there's no room for censorship. There's no room for these ideas that, all right, all of our debt's going to just be swooped up by the Federal Reserve, and then the feds are going to own all these small companies that are going out of business. And the only people we're going to hear from are the blacks saying, well, you took all our black businesses away from us. Not just the black businesses, every business getting affected by this. Hardcore.
Yeah, I mean, and I want to say that a lot of these people who are doing this, they absolutely believe that their cause is just. So for them, the ends justify the means. What Starbucks is doing is very authoritarian, and they're just part of the establishment that thinks that, hey, they're standing up against hate. And in reality, they're not looking at the whole picture. And, they're not standing up against authoritarianism. And it's very hateful not to allow someone to speak. It's very hateful to cancel someone without any form of trial. It's kind of an economic lynching, because you basically kill that person's career without without any form of defense. It's very hateful when people try to form a defense against Antifa, and they're completely canceled like the Proud Boys were. No, the Proud Boys were not a perfect organization, but they were one of the only groups that was standing up to the Marxist and cruel and violent Antifa, and even other groups that are violent and cruel. Some of these groups are very violent and vicious, and that we can't say anything about it, that we're forbidden. If somebody commits a crime and hurts somebody, is it only allowed to be said if it's a white on black? But if it's if whites are hurt in any way, are they allowed to say anything? If it's a crime, against their race, or if it's a racially, are whites the only ones that can commit racially motivated crimes? Can other groups do that as well? How is that against? It seems like it's very hateful. I mean, it's really a gaslighting thing. This whole hate, standing against hate, is really just the most gaslighting thing I've ever seen in my life. You're standing up against hate. You're standing up against freedom is what you're doing. It's very hateful to deplatform somebody. It's very hateful to deny somebody, the spirit of their 14th Amendment rights. And I guess that's where we're at in this country. People are filled with emotion. Yeah, anyone can be a racist. Why can't that be true? Anyone can be racist. And maybe there's another coffee place around. Hey guys, why would you ever buy Starbucks coffee? If you believe in freedom of speech and freedom of debate and open and honest discussion, why would you ever buy Starbucks coffee? And also, look, and it's just like, black butts matter. I mean, this is just stupid. People go to strip clubs for their fantasy, and they, leave people alone. Let them. If you know what? Here's my deal. If you want to run a strip club with all black strip, or with all whites, like it's a strip club. If people, men, women have their fetishes. Why are we criminal? I guess it's like if you believe in Judeo-Christianity, it's maybe wrong, but are you going to criminalize people's fetishes along with having strip clubs? Is this where we're at now? Who decides what's sexy and what isn't, and who decides how they want to run their business or not? Particularly a strip club. It's there for fantasy. It's there for whatever the man wants to. It's usually it caters to men. Whatever the man wants, whatever he considers his fantasy and what he desires. It just is what it is. And I would get into the whole thing about, like wealth and, like that we evolve, the human species evolves in poverty, doesn't evolve into wealth. And, this regulation and stuff, it's a business killer. And, like however you feel about strip clubs, whether they're moral or not, this is just foolish. Black butts matter. It's one of the most ignorant things I've ever seen, and people are allowed to say things without rebuttal nowadays, and it's just silly, and it's really anti-freedom. And I'm like, it is what it is. Luckily there are other places that we can go to, and but who knows what's going to happen with this country and with regards to freedom. The information age should not be the censorship age. That's my line. Joe, is there anything to add?
No. Where are you at here? You want to finish this up?
Yeah, let's finish it up. I think I've said everything I have to say, and I don't want to repeat myself. But yeah, hey guys, like and subscribe. We are being censored by the powers that be. They don't want to hear a lot of what we have to say, and that's it is what it is. They are, I guess, a private company. I did a quick show on the 1964 Civil Rights Act, the public accommodations part of that, and the 14th Amendment, the equal protection under the law. I went into that already, but if you guys support freedom of speech and you want a free and honest dialogue, you know what? Share this video and support what we're doing, and we'll do likewise, because we need freedom in this country.
There you go.